Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered. Nourish, Heal, Thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today I'm so excited to have Kerri here with me again. You may also know her as the Sugar Knockout Coach. She is a fellow health coach who helps people break free from sugar cravings, understand what's really in their food, and make empowered choices for lasting health. Today, we're diving into the world of nutrition and ingredient labels, what to look for, what to question, and how to navigate all the confusing claims on packaging. Whether you're living with PCOS, managing blood sugar, or just want to feel confident in the grocery store, this conversation is full of practical tips you can start using today. But before I go any further, I have something very powerful to share with you. This October, I'm hosting a virtual event called Unwritten: Healing Beyond the Diagnosis. And if you're ready to finally go deeper than symptom management, this is for you. On October 9th, the 16th, and 23rd, you'll hear real stories of healing from women who've been where you are, including Kerri, and learn practical tools that actually work, mind, body, and beyond. Tap the link in the show notes to grab your free spot and find out more. You don't have to settle for managing it. It's time to rewrite the story your doctor never told you was possible. And as a reminder, the content shared on PCOS Unfiltered is for informational and educational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests are not intended to serve as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or treatment plan. The information shared is based on personal experience and expert interviews and is not a substitute for professional medical guidance. Now, grab your favorite snack, the healthy kind of course, and let's get into it. Welcome back, Kerri, my good friend Kerri, and fellow health coach. We had a blast last time you were on. But this time, we are talking about reading labels, nutrition, and ingredient labels. This is a super fun topic. I even remember back in the day with the gym, we did this.
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
remember that?
right? This is 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just kind of dive in. So I still want to cover, you talked about it before, and especially with the event coming up for Unwritten: Healing Beyond Your Diagnosis coming up in October. There's a reason that you were chosen as a speaker, because you've been through that and now you are coaching clients through those same struggles. So kind of, I want you to just revisit where you came from, what's your story, what were you going through, and then bring in, where did the labels come into play during your own healing journey?
Yeah. It's so interesting. I love this topic. And yeah, this is 2.0 for sure. So thank you for having me. And as I mentioned last time, my God, my health journey, it's interesting. Like I ate garbage, right? Like, let's just be honest. Like I did not eat anything. I ate a ton of sugar. I love candy. I would eat chips. I was living on like Starbucks Frappuccinos. And I love to point this out because the whole time people are like, "You're so skinny." And I was total skin and bones because I wasn't eating anything real. I was like a vegetarian at one point, which just meant I wasn't eating meat. I was eating, pasta and potato salad and
I did that too.
right? I'm a
Yep.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
Eating zero vegetables. I ate soy burgers. Like I've done all of it, right? That's why I'm like, there's no judgment in my program because I've done it all. But I was sick. Like as soon as it got cold out until it warmed up, I had a sinus infection. I had stomach issues. I had migraines. I had hormonal issues that landed me in the hospital. But before that, I went and saw my OBGYN and she sat me down and was like, "Kerri, this is serious." I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Because I used to just get on and off the pill. Like that was the cure all. I'll just get back on the pill and then I'll get off it. Then I'll eat like I just did not eat right. So I got a health coach, got my sugar cravings under control. And it was really nothing short of amazing. I say that all the time because it was so different than how I was eating before that. And it was completely new to me. Like we didn't sit around learning about nutrition at all. So um, I want to become a health coach and just help women with that. Like really just educate them on the things that I didn't know that made such a huge, huge difference. And then I started coaching women And they would come to me like, I'm eating relatively clean. I'm like, well, what are you eating? And we talk some things out. And I'm like, let's look at the labels, right? Like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
we need to like read your labels, because in a perfect world, and for the longest time, like I didn't eat anything that wasn't in a can or a box. I mean, maybe some rice or some quinoa, but other than that, I was making everything from scratch. Obviously, this isn't reality and we're busy. So, how do we navigate that? Like, really, we had to start reading labels, and they were surprised by how much sugar is in everything. Lindsay, I know you've been there too, right? How much
Yep.
sugar is there in like sugar in unexpected places that they didn't think they even needed to read the label to see that there was sugar in it?
Yeah. It comes in many, many forms.
Yeah.
Especially when the front, makes it
Oh,
sound
yeah.
so great.
Mhm.
But when you actually read that label, yeah, we were just talking about this because I had my big wake up call like back in the day, when I started. I think it was even after I kind of had my like health scare of my own,
Mm,
and I kind of still converted to the healthier, more convenient options. But
yeah.
once I really kind of dove in then and progressed in my own journey, yeah, you start looking at the sugars and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all this that's in there.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, kind of leading right into what are the biggest misconceptions that people have when they look at nutrition labels?
Uh, well, let's not even talk about the front of the box. I think we'll get into that a little bit later. But just when you're looking at the nutrition facts label, the first is serving size. And I've done this, and I brought some cereal we're going to look at in a few minutes. But the serving size on this is a cup. When I eat cereal, I'm not eating a cup of cereal. Like
Mm-mm.
I'm right. Nobody does. I
Nobody
wasn't
does.
anyway. And
Yeah.
even like a serving size of salad dressing is 2 tablespoons. I mean, come on. Like I am soaking my salad in that sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
and so we look at this, and this is a serving size, and there's 11 grams of added sugar in 1 cup. And I would probably eat like 3 cups,
Hmm.
33 grams. So we have to be mindful of a serving size. What is one serving? And I don't really even worry about calories. I have my folks, because when I talk to women about sugar and cravings, and I deal with a lot of people that have pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetics, like the sugar and carbs, we'll look at that, but it looks a lot smaller when you're thinking the serving size is your bowl, but it's really a cup. So I can
Yeah.
convince myself that it's okay. And that's really what the companies want you to do, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, you look at the front and there's all these health claims, but you have to turn it around to to get the whole picture, to read the fine print, if you will. It's marketing in disguise. They call it greenwashing, and I mean, I'm a sucker for a pretty label, right? Especially on sugar. There's a lot, and there's so
Hmm.
many health claims. So you really just need to know what the heck you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're out there to make money. So, it
Yeah.
sounds good on the front and then they put it on that
Mhm.
end cap for you too. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this seems great. I'll just grab this and not even pay attention. And in the cart it goes and home and in our stomachs. So yeah. And even now I still have to catch myself sometimes. I'm a big label person now.
Yeah.
Probably my husband always laughs, but I mean it's true because even I'll see something new at the store maybe and I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh." But at the same time, it's great for me to know some of this stuff because if my clients are asking about it or if I'm looking for a better option,
Yeah.
but a lot of the times, probably 90-95% of the time when I flip it over, I'm like,
Oop.
never mind. Yeah, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. I do that
Yep.
too. I'm like, oh, and then the first ingredient, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes even just looking at the length of the
Oh,
ingredient
yeah.
list. Like
Of
sometimes I just
course.
do that and I immediately am like, nope, that's out.
Yeah. Don't go any further. Too many
Mhm.
ingredients. Done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the key components of a nutrition label that everyone should understand? I mean, you mentioned serving size. I think that's a huge one, but what else would
That's
you
a
say?
huge one. And it's so funny because as a person who never cared about what she was eating, never read a label, and some people listening to this might be like that. So we have our beautiful nutrition label. Yes, serving size. That's the first thing you really should look at. I don't worry about calories. I know some people do. That is on there as well. So take a look
Mhm.
at that. Fats is the next one. I'm just going to go down the list as you see it on the nutrition label. So it's interesting because I used to be really scared of fat, right? We all used to be scared of fat, but we want to stay away from trans fats, and it will list on there. Now they have to list if there's any trans
Mhm.
fats. You don't want any of that. I was told that it's closer to like plastic than actual fat or anything healthy that the body can use. So that is an absolute, if you see that, just turn it away. And a lot of the foods that we grew up with had trans fats in them, and they've tried to change them. So they should be listed. And if you're like, what does this look like as we talk about like actual ingredients, it can say, hydrogenated oils, modified oils, fractionated oils. These have been chemically modified. So it's
Yeah.
not food at that point when it has trans fats on them. Like pie crusts, stuff like that, they're still out there. Like they're still there, and even some of the healthier versions. So look at that. I do have some clients, because we are so scared of fat still, to look at saturated fats, and those are things like our coconut oil. And some of you should have them in moderation depending on health issues, right? You
Mhm.
discuss with your doctor, and depending on health issues. Um, Total carbs. This is another one I love to chat. So some of my folks come to me, and because their doctor has told them they need to be low carb. And so I say between 9 and 10 grams and less per serving. So how do we figure out our net carbs? I'm going to do a little math here. My mathematicians. So on the label, you're going to take your total carbs. You're going to minus the dietary fiber, which is such a great conversation, which we could talk about whatever, because fiber really helps everything be absorbed and broken down slower. And so it can lower the carb count. So just a little something to think about in there when we talk about eating and creating a plate. We'll do another talk on that. And then sugar alcohols, you can take that away too, right? So here, let's see, there's 30 grams total carbs, 30 grams minus 3 grams of fiber. So that's still 27 grams of carbs. There's no sugar alcohols in here. So that's the total carbs. Be aware of that if you really are watching your carbs. I know my diabetic folks, they really need to look at
And
that.
that's in 1 cup.
That is in 1 cup
Yeah.
of our healthy organic cereal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Healthy.
which, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
still way better than Fruit Loops, okay? And
Yeah.
sometimes if you're transitioning, but this is not healthy. This is just a
Mhm.
stepping stone. And so now, since we're talking about how crazy are some of these, let's look at how much sugar is in a cup here. This has 11 grams of sugar, added sugar, right? Because there are some things that just have sugar that's naturally occurring, but we want to talk about added sugar. And I know Lindsay and I talk a lot about our programs about this. Like that is what is the added
Mhm.
sugar. And we like to keep it to 5 grams or less in per serving. And this has 11 grams of sugar in a cup, only 1 cup. There's
Mhm.
lots of names for sugar, lots of names. So if you're like, I still want to eat this, then we're going to be like, you need to look at the ingredients. Okay. Is there high fructose corn syrup in there? And if there is, please do not have it. There are so many different names for sugar. I think we're up to like 72 different names for sugar in the
That's
ingredients. Yeah.
crazy.
And I give that
Yeah.
out in my programs, like just
Yeah.
to start being aware.
Yeah.
So continuing protein, this list, there is some protein in here, 3 grams of protein. And then the ingredients. As Lindsay mentioned, how many ingredients are there? Are there three? Are there 23?
Yeah. It's true. Like, yeah, if you just, like I said, if you just look at it and see the length, like that
You're
should be an
like,
indicator right there. Yeah.
probably, yeah, probably
Yeah.
not. And then the second thing is, can you pronounce it? If you're
Mhm.
looking through and you're like, what is this? Yeah,
Yeah.
probably something you don't want to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and so like, I mean, obviously 72 different names of sugars, but some common ones, like if it's a Dex, a Dex
Hmm.
is something, if it ends in ose. I know that's another big
Yeah.
one. What other ones would you say are kind of or any
Syrup.
other? Yeah, anything syrup.
Or I love this. Now, listen, I will use some coconut sugar in baking sometimes, but it
Mhm.
will say right out, this is coconut sugar, this is beet sugar, this is agave, and we're like, yay! This is a better version of sugar. Like, beet sugar is still sugar, and if there are 11 grams of beet sugar in there, it's still
Yeah.
11 grams of sugar that your body has to process.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, just because I know there's a popular organic brand of granola that I used to like and eat a lot. And yeah, it was kind of like that scenario because especially it was all organic
Hmm.
ingredients in it and they were all things I could pronounce,
Yeah.
but the sugar content, the added sugar content that was in there. And yeah, I think it might have been coconut sugar, maybe even another form, but it was like
Yeah.
more of a whole form of sugar, but there were still, I think, yeah, close to 11, 12 grams, I bet, per serving size, which may have only been a couple tablespoons too.
And then we're
So,
also like, why are we adding sugar to some of these things that already are
yeah,
naturally sweet
yeah.
tasting, like
And
dried
that's the thing.
fruit? Why?
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's a big thing. I have trouble finding dried fruits that aren't coated in sugar or have some
Yeah.
form of an added sugar. That's crazy. And going back to the granola, I started making my own
Yeah.
with no sugar.
Yeah.
And
Nope.
it tasted great. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So there's definitely some eye-opening pieces there. How
Yeah.
can I guess we kind of talked about this, but how can people spot hidden sugars or unhealthy fats on a label? Is there anything
Yeah.
else you'd like
And
to
so
add to
some of the
that?
things that we talked about, the OS, is it glucose? Is it sucrose? Is it lactose? Naturally occurring in milk, right?
Yeah.
Maltose, dextrose. There's so many things, but like look for syrups or things that actually just say sugar, like we said. I mean,
Yeah.
just because molasses is a better, easier form to digest, how much molasses is actually in it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is the thing. And trans fats, like really, really just those are the things. And some oils. So there is a very popular dressing at on the front. It's gluten free. It's organic. It doesn't have any artificial sweeteners. The first ingredient is canola oil. Ah! So
Yeah.
when you're look for these, if you only remember like to look for this like hidden sugars, trans fats, and then what kind of oils are actually in it, especially when it's an oil based something like a salad dressing. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil is really, really good. I mean, a lot of mayonnaise is made with garbage oil. I was raised on them,
Hmm.
right? No judgment.
Yep.
We all like them. But now you can
Yep.
get ones made with avocado oil. And even the ones that say olive oil on the front, you have to turn it over because it's not only olive oil. It's great to
Yes.
put it in there to tell you on the front that it's made with olive oil,
Yep.
but it's made with terrible oil. So if it's not olive oil, coconut oil, or avocado oil in there, I would avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I was actually gonna bring up there's a butter. I don't even know what it like I used to use it back in the
Yeah.
day, but I know on the front it says like made with avocado oil, but literally the label is every other
Yep.
bad seed
Yeah.
oil you could imagine plus avocado oil.
Yeah.
But that's just a perfect example because on the front
Mhm.
you think it might even say like made with like olive and avocado oil. But when
Okay.
you look at the label, there's a whole bunch of other oils in there. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. And that's yeah, like you said, the salad dressings I think are another big culprit for that. I mean, even with the oils, breads, that's another
Oh
one
yeah.
that like sugars and the bad oils that are in something like you wouldn't really maybe think about too much, but they're in a lot of
Yeah.
breads, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
Uh,
so they're really great at, the marketing on the front, and and when we're busy, I'm like, "Oh, this has olive oil in it. Yay, great." I don't and I make my own mayonnaise, but sometimes I can't. And so, "Oh, just grab this."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. No, I know it's not worth it.
it's really not.
uh yeah. And I know like so for me, I like personally and even when my clients like ask me about a label or ask me about a product or something a lot of times because they're still kind of trying to take the easy way out and
Yeah.
not leaning into eating whole foods yet. Um but I'm like, what's the ingredient list say? And so,
Yeah.
yeah, why would you say that's even more important looking at the ingredient list versus the
Mm.
actual nutrition facts themselves?
Yeah. Okay, the nutrition facts is like the preview. Like, here's the quick whatever. You're like, okay, I can kind of get an idea of what's in there. But the real story is in the ingredient list.
Yeah.
Because, so I have a client, as we were talking about, love ketchup. Okay. And I'm like, okay, can we get the one that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup? Then she was like, I need to cut out sugar. Sugar free ketchup. There is a brand I like, but most
Hmm.
of them have artificial sweeteners in them. And
Hmm.
so, yay, that sounds great. She looks, it's low calorie, there's no sugar, but unless she actually read the ingredients, she would see that there's artificial sweeteners. And sometimes you just like, it's just so heartbreaking, right? Look what I found. I'm so
Yes.
excited, right?
I've
And it
had to do
tastes
that
so
before
good.
too. Yes.
Right. And
Yeah.
it tastes so good. So it can be like, oh, this has very few calories, there's no sugar, it sounds amazing. And then it's more of a science experiment because artificial sweeteners, and this, I don't know how much you see this with your folks, but because I deal with people and sugar cravings and they still want to taste something sweet, and so they lean on artificial sweeteners. And I'm like, what is the sweetener in it? When it's sugar
Hmm.
free, that's a long conversation.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
We could go down that rabbit hole, I'm sure,
Oh my
about
gosh.
how those are probably even worse
Yeah,
than
they're definitely worse for you.
yeah.
They're processed. They're chemicals. Again, it's
Hmm.
something that is made with chemicals. And I ate Splenda for a very long time because I knew I was eating too much sugar, but I still wanted something sweet.
Yeah.
And so I ate that a lot. So it's really just taking back your power and looking at the ingredients and being informed, and you get to decide. We always say you vote with your dollars. You
Exactly.
vote with your dollars. You don't
Yeah.
have to buy any of that stuff. And if you do, you know what? It's okay. Just try something new.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say? We already kind of talked about this, but I still want to kind of reiterate it. What would be some red flag
Mm,
ingredients you recommend that people avoid or if they're not ready to go all in, at least limit, if they're starting
yeah.
off?
So I always go to the oils. I feel like the oils is a huge, huge piece. And so I know I mentioned that the amount of ingredients. So Alex loves these seaweed snacks. They are literally three ingredients, right? Seaweed, oil, and salt. Most of them are made with canola oil.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I have to search to get the ones that are made with avocado oil. There is a brand. They're right next to each other. The packaging almost looks exactly the same. And so I think you just need to kind of decide what is it that, what are you not going to put up with in the oils. If you start removing that, I would say oils and artificial sweeteners, you can make such a huge difference in the way you feel and the quality of what you're eating. And so when I'm talking about artificial sweeteners, I'm not talking about stevia, which people consider to be artificial. I'm talking about Splenda, what's the generic name, sucralose. It's so
Yeah.
funny. A friend sent me an article not too long ago that was like all the reasons why sucralose is bad for you. And the article literally said, but not Splenda. Oh, we're not bashing Splenda because they don't want to get in trouble with Splenda. I'm like,
No.
it's a chemical compound which makes sucralose. So Splenda and sucralose are the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or aspartame or sweet and low.
Sweet and low. Yeah.
Yeah, and those, they're still out there. They're still in
Yeah.
foods. And the sucralose, I've eaten so much of it that if somebody gives me something and I taste it and it's a healthy, this is a sugar-free chocolate covered almond, the second I taste it, I'm like, "Oh, that's got sucralose in it." You can just taste it. It tastes like a
Yes.
chemical. Diet Coke, like
Yeah.
the diet stuff, which I'm sorry guys, artificial sweeteners and all the diet stuff, those have to go. Those are poison and they're
Yeah.
actually keeping you addicted to sugar and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's all I'll
But
say about that because that breaks a lot of people's hearts, especially when my diabetic, my type 2 diabetes folks, like they didn't get type 2 diabetes because they don't have a sweet tooth, like they have a sweet
yeah.
tooth and they want to continue. They feel like you're taking everything they love away, and it's
Yeah.
artificial sweeteners just have to go.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. That's a really, really great point, especially just talking about those, those two top things with the oils and the artificial sweeteners, because yeah, you have to kind of pick like, okay, what area am I gonna focus on first? And then maybe even take it down to like one of the ultra processed packaged food items that really contains
Yeah.
that. Like which, because if you really start diving deep into this and you do go all in, yeah, you're gonna go nuts because if you're eating a lot of those ultra processed foods, there's not gonna be anything left to eat
Yeah.
and you're going to fail miserably. You're going to set yourself up for failure. So you really have to think like, okay, so do you want to focus on seed oils first or
Hmm.
yeah, those artificial sweeteners or sugars in general, because that's going to start eliminating some things, but it's still going to leave some things, or
Yeah.
you might be able to find some better alternatives, at least in the meantime, as you kind of transition. So that does bring up a really, a really good point there too, because you really, as much as you might want to go all in and think this might be a solution, you really have to take a step back and decide what you want to
Yeah.
look at first,
And
for
some
sure.
people are great at that. Like some people can dive all in because they're so sick and they're over it. But
Mhm.
I think the average person, and we're busy, it becomes overwhelming. And then you're like,
Oh
there's
yeah.
nothing I can eat. I mean, I have a client right
Yeah.
now I mean, she has type 2 diabetes, and like they're like, you are at a point where you can't have any of it. And now it's like,
Mhm.
ah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yep.
because then that's all you think about when you're told you can't have it. That's all you think about. And
Yeah.
even now, I mean, thinking about my journey, even as I was like, prepping for this with you, it's like thinking about my journey. There's no way, even though I am one that's probably not the norm that can give up things pretty easily, I don't think I'd be where I am today if I would have just gone like cold turkey with a lot of stuff back in the
Yeah.
day. I had to kind of learn that process on my own and I've
Yeah.
learned all of that stuff. I now, I think I'm
Yeah.
better for my clients that way too because
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through it, same thing with you. So yeah, there's definitely a little
Well,
take a step back. It's a process. You have to remember
it's a
that.
process. So when I
Mhm.
first got so sick and I was like, all this new information, I mean, for 4 months, I cut everything out. All I was eating was vegetables and protein. I didn't even have a piece of fruit. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the way. And then after 4 months, I was like, but now I'm bored. And what do I
Yeah.
eat? And then that's when you got to start reading labels
Yeah.
and finding other things.
Yeah. And uh, we can also kind of talk about this a little bit. I mean, yeah, sugar's addictive. So you can actually, if you do try to take, if you really look at how much sugar you take in a day and you try cutting
Yeah.
all of that out, you could actually go through
Mm-hmm.
withdrawal symptoms, just like anybody that could be trying to, cut out alcohol or drugs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of the same symptoms. So that's still something that you
Yeah.
also have to think about too, because you don't want to put your body through that kind of stress
Yeah.
either
It's
if you're really,
terrible.
yeah, yeah.
Been there, not fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. How can people tell if an ingredient is natural or highly processed?
Well, if we're going back to labels again, like how many things are in it, right? How many things are in it, and can you pronounce them? And so, as I'm looking at our little thing here, right? I'm like, I can pronounce all of this, except there's sunflower oil in here, right?
Yeah.
So then we're like, really, can you pronounce it? Or this is what I tell my folks, and it's a little bit of work at the beginning. That's why start with one or two things or one or two snacks. If you're like, I don't know what that is, or I can't remember what Kerri said about sunflower oil, just Google it.
Mhm.
Or there's some apps out there that I love. You scan and it will tell you. And not only does it like give you a rating, you click on it and it will tell you why it's not good, and it will
Yeah.
tell you the oils. And so you can start to make this connection, because I didn't know all that. I mean, I was raised on canola oil and corn oil. Like, that's what we
Yeah.
put in our food when we baked. I loved to bake as
Yeah.
a kid, and that's what you get like the package of brownies and you put the canola oil in.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my gosh, Crisco. My mom used to
yes.
go through the tubs of Crisco, I think, with all the baking she did.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, my grandma too. It's funny because my
Mhm.
grandma passed a couple years ago. She was 96, and we looked through her old recipes. Crisco was in
Yeah,
so many of them.
exactly.
So it's really just kind of just take a moment and kind of look at this stuff. Again, you can make it overwhelming, or you can say, I'm going to switch out my cereal. And even if you pick something like this that's not perfect, it's transitioning.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, right? Progress over perfection. We don't need to
Yeah,
be perfect.
exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you so much to Kerri for joining me today and sharing all of her expertise on reading labels and decoding ingredients. I know this is going to help so many women feel more confident and empowered in their food choices, especially those living with PCOS. For those listening, if you want to learn more from Kerri, check out all her info in the show notes to get her tips, resources, and programs. And remember, understanding what's in your food is not about perfection. It's about making informed choices that support your health, your hormones, and your life. If today's episode spoke to you, just imagine what's waiting for you inside Unwritten. This event is going to be raw, real, and so full of hope, with speakers who get it, tools that help, and a community that truly understands. Click the link in the show notes to find out more and join us in October. Your story isn't over, it's just unwritten. Thanks again for tuning in to PCOS Unfiltered. I'll see you next time when we continue exploring real strategies for healing, nourishing, and thriving from the inside out.